Hey, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, why Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone. This is Ainaya Allah with the beloved truth. Today's lesson is about the ever growing conflict between China and the Philippines over the South China Sea. Okay, which these series of events has taken place now will ultimately spawn and will be part of World War III. Okay, because you got conflicts between not just China and the Philippines, but you also have conflicts between Russia and the UN, in America or the USA, and other conflicts that are being brewing. All right, Syria, Iran, over the nuclear factories or the nuclear plants that they're trying to create. And the thing that's happening is America is basically losing its steam. For so long, America has been the the knight in shining armor of the world, which, or you can say the police of the world, or the great bully of the world. All right, and the Bible is known as Great Babylon, the whore that rideth the beast, which the beast is the EU or NATO. Okay, and America for so long, the U.S. Um, headed by Esau, so-called white man, according to the Bible. For so long, they've been at the top, um, but now America is going to have to, they're going to have to back the Philippines um, if if it leads to an all-out war. Okay, and that's why I have these articles. All right, because for people that's in the know, they understand um, the things that's taking place, whether they be generated or they just be coincidental. And most likely they're not coincidental. They're generated. All right, because just like World War I, World War II, and these wars have implications and agendas behind them. World War I, they had to phase out Germany from being the dominant world power. Okay, and they had to create their alliances to take Germany down. The same thing with World War II, just establishing and shifting powers. Okay, and with all these wars taking place, is the new world order is basically um, being the plan was being drawn up and it was being um, manifested. So with all of that, I'm gonna just get into the articles. Um, a lot of these articles you can look up yourself and read in detail if you don't like me reading, because I'm only going to read a few paragraphs and and filter it with some some biblical prophecy. Um, because a lot of people think that this can get better, or we don't have to go to war, and that's just not the case. The case is that these are these wars are going to be set up, and they're going to happen because some superpowers that will be phased out. Okay, only to bring in the real new world order, which is the kingdom of the Most High, and is going to be ran by Yahweh Shai, the son of Yahweh, which he just so happened to be. I just so happen to be of the same nation of him. I happen to be a Israelite from the tribe of Judah. So with all that being said, I'm gonna get into the article. The Philippines sends a stark warning to China over South China Sea dispute. Now, if you're not familiar with what's been going on, it's been going on for you know it's going been going on for some time now, years. Okay, these guys, China and the Philippines, they won't claim to the South China Sea, And what happened this year, July 2nd, I mean 12th of 2016, um, the International Court of, I think it's Tribunal Court, or something to that extent. I forget the name. It always leaves me. Let me see. But yeah, the International Court of, I don't know. It's not settlements. I think it's a judicial court, and it's ran by the auspices of the EU or the UN, not the EU, the UN. Okay, or one of those two. All right. So uh, if I'm not sure, I'll just look it up. Let me see. And just bear with me, okay? Yeah, it's the International Court of Tribunal of the Tribunal Court or Court of Arbitration. All right, the ICC. Let me see. And this is an old article. I did a series on this about a month back, maybe a few months back.
On the arbitration proceedings initiated by the Philippines with regard to the South China Sea. Our experts are studying the award with the care and thoroughness that this significant arbitral outcome deserves. We call on those concerned to exercise restraint and sobriety. The Philippines strongly affirms its respect for this milestone decision. The Philippines reiterates its abiding commitment to efforts of pursuing the peaceful resolution and management of disputes with the view of promoting and enhancing peace and stability in the region.
你非常准确地描述了中方的立场，因为我们确实是不承认，从一开始就不承认、不接受，所以呢，也不会跟这个所谓的非法的仲裁庭，发生任何可能产生法律上意义的司法程序上的关系，我们也不会接受，他提供的所谓的任何的不管是什么样的材料，我想说呢，这个仲裁庭所谓的仲裁庭，它从一开始就是建立在了菲律宾违法行为和非法诉求的基础之上。那么它的存在呢，就不具备合法性，它所做出的一切裁决都是徒劳的，是没有任何效力的。我们还是希望跟我们的周边国家，包括菲律宾在内，维护一个和平稳定、互利共赢的一个
All right, so in a nutshell, the guy is basically saying the International Tribunal Court is illegitimate. They have no authority whatsoever to give claim to anybody or to make any type of ruling on who has claim over the South China Sea. Now, mind you, the UN is basically heading the International Court. So there you go, and that's kind of the gist of the conflict. All right, but back in the article, it says South China Sea disputes are turning worse. All right. Um, so basically, what you have is a back and forth. China is obviously they believe they have claim, you know, and they're doing their military training. They're building man-made islands. They're doing, you know, what they want is they please because they feel as though they have a claim. And as a superpower, with the military as big as theirs is, for the most part, they do have a claim. Okay, so let me just finish this article. It says President Rodrigo Duterte, all right, had a loud and clear message before China. Stay away from our territory, or else it could be a bloody confrontation. Philippines warning comes shortly before China hosts the G20 leaders summit in eastern city of Hangzhou on the 4th and the 5th of September, and 1 week after a Japan Times editorial revealed that China has set a red line for Japan in the South China Sea. China warned Japan not to send self defense forces to join U.S. operations that test the freedom of navigation in the disputed South China Sea. All right, so conflict within a conflict. So you got the Chinese against the Philippines. You got the Chinese versus the Japanese. All right, everybody's drawing a red line. All right, so as you can see, it's not that hard to comprehend. Okay, there's contention or tension, excuse me, and something's bound to happen. All right. So with that, I'll go to the next article. South China Sea, World War III alert. U.S. China prepare for war. Philippines sends grave warnings. And the point I want to get in here is that uh, the Philippines made a statement that if they were to declare war, that the U.S. would have to uphold its treaty with them, and they would have to join the war with the Philippines, leading into World War III. You know, so it's evident. But what makes it more, uh, more, how can I say, fulfilling, um, is that it's coming from a biblical standpoint. So everything that's happening is because the Most High Yahweh is basically making it happen, and I'll prove that. Let me see. So I'll start with Joel chapter 3, which a lot of people, a lot of, if you're anybody, you should know this, Joel 3 and 1. For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, all right, not meaning that we're going to be brought back to our normal state, all right, and it's talking about the blacks, Latins, and Native Americans. For those who don't know, these are the descendants of the 12 tribes of Israel, and those that be scattered throughout the world who don't look like your regular Israelite, but whose lineage goes back to the 12 patriarchs. All right, so this is Strong's, and the Hebrew word for Salaki, the Hebrew word for captive. Okay, when the scripture says he will bring back the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I believe, um, is Shabbat. All right, and no, it's not Yiddish. All right, so it says captivity. It says captive variant Strong's synonym. Okay, here we go. A former state of prosperity. All right, for those that suffering, the Israelites that suffering over here, who are the hopeful elect. All right, because only 1/3 of the nation of Israel is going to be saved out of this turmoil, and America is going to be destroyed by thermonuclear fire. All right, and that is the end all be all for America when they enter into this third world's war. All right, like I said, it's a shift in powers, but the world, the citizens of the world, for lack of better words, or the people of the world, they think that they're going to set up a new power under China, under Russia, or under these emerging economies, or what have you. But the ultimate deal is that Yahweh Shai, he's going to take the kingdom. He's going to take the powers away from the earth. I'll get that little one in Daniel chapter 7 and 9. It explains that. But back to the scripture, because I don't want this to be lengthy. It says Joel 3 and 2. It says so basically bring us back. For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, meaning our former prosperity. All right. I will also gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. And this is part of the gathering. All right. This is part of the gathering. All right. It says, and I will plead with them there for my people. And what does it mean by plead? It means to take vengeance. And I'll get that and I'll prove that. Shapat, which meaning judgment. All right. Judgment by the way of vengeance. All right. So here you go. It says, judge, plead, avenge, condemn, execute judgment, defend, deliver. All right. So it's important. It's an importance to understand the words. All right. So you can have, you know the words, so you can have an understanding of the scripture. It says whom they have. All right. So he's gonna plead. He will judge uh, the other nations there with Slaki. He will avenge with them there for my people, all right, and for my heritage, Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. And they have cast lots for my people, and given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine that they might drink. All right, and that's talking about slavery. All right. It says, yea, what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coast of Palestine? Will ye render me a recompense? And if ye recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your head. So there's no other way that you nations basically can pay us back, only by way of us turning everything upside down upon your heads. Joel 3 and 5, because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things. The children of also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, that ye might remove them far from their border. All right, which is the Grecians, are so-called white men. All right, and it says Tyre and Zidon, you Hamites. All right, the children of Ham, which we would call the real Africans. All right, because they don't even call themselves Africans in Africa. All right, that's just the so-called white man's name that he put on them. All right, after he conquered the land of Ham. All right, which is Ham in the Hebrew. It says, "Behold, I will raise them out of the place whither ye have sold them." All right, whither and will return your recompense upon your own head. Now, the place that we were sold is here in America. Okay, and prophecies speak on that. I think Isaiah, where it says he will get us out of the land of the north, roughly paraphrasing, and then in Revelations 13 and 9, where it says that, you know what, I'll just get it. There's a lot of points can be made, and I really kind of just want to stick to my overall point is that we're going into World War III regardless, and you see the commotions and the disputes. These are all leading to the Third World War. All right, and the establishment of the real children of Israel, which are the Israelites, not the fake Jews that claim they're Jews and they're Zionists and all this other stuff. Those are definitely not the children of the Most High. All right, because they're not suffering. They're a welfare state. Everybody pays tribute to them. All right, so I lost my point. So if it comes back to me, I'll grab it. Joel 3 and 8. It says, "And I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabians, and to a people far off. For the Lord has spoken it. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong." That's talking about the other nations, like the Philippines or Iran, to be, or Iran because or Korea, North Korea, because for so long, like I mentioned earlier, America has had the grasp on the world as far as a military, uh, militarization standpoint. Okay, so back in the scripture, um, it says, "Let the weak say, I am strong. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about thither, cause thy mighty ones to come up, O Lord. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat," meaning Yahweh Shaphat, meaning the Most High's judgment or Yahweh's judgment. "For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about," and He's going to do that by way of the third world's war. Okay, so and mind you, they having a G20 summit that's coming up. So every time they have one of these summits, something goes down. All right, you know, my question is, what really happens at the summit? I really, as far as the elect is concerned, we understand the end all be all, the end game of all things that's taking place. All right, this G20, they got this coming up September 4th, September 5th, and we know is always a shift in the world's vibration, I guess you can say, because they bring in they bringing in the new world order more and more, and it's set up already. They just have to execute certain things or cut off certain things of the old world, which is the monetary system. They have to go completely digital, all right, with the RFID chip, um, and amongst other things, all right, because they have undesirables that they have to weed out, all right, and put in concentration camps and internment camps, and they're gonna do it by way of their philosophy. And these guys are all maniacs um, from scientific background, social, social. I forget. I can't pronounce the word right now. And sociology backgrounds, psychology backgrounds, theology, and all these other things that they learn in these universities, only to basically make their own society outside of what the Most High has perfectly established in the beginning. All right. So the next, I'll read this a little bit more of this second article. Well, I'll start reading. I don't think I've read it yet. So yeah, I did. Okay, I'll read it. I'll read this. It says tensions in the South China Sea region have not eased up, as reports now suggest that the U.S. and China are about to head to a standoff that could mean the next world war. Likewise, the Philippines, another claimant to the disputed region, also sent a stark warning to Beijing to stay away from the territory if it wants to avoid a bloody confrontation. Will the world plunge into chaos? And the question, I mean, the answer is hell yes. Hell yes. All right. What proves that? Isaiah chapter 13. All right. Isaiah 13 and 1. The burden of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amos did see. Lift ye up the banner, lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain. Now, a lot of you might say, well, why is he reading from the Old Testament, Isaiah 13? Because most of these prophecies um, that we read, okay, are twofold, and they're happening in front of our eyes. We actually see it play out, and a lot of when it says like the word Babylon, America has a spirit of Babylon. Babylon meaning Babel, meaning confusion, and that's what you have here in America, confusion. All right, from everything they believe in, um, to everything that they, deem as evil. It's all confusion. Right? It says, It says, which Salaki, verse 2. It says, lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain, exalt the voice unto them, shake the hand that they may go into the gates of the nobles. And that's us, the prophets, the apostles, the prophets, the teachers, um, you know, and the brothers that go out here, the servants that go out here and do the Lord's work. Okay. Basically prophesying the downfall of America, and not just America, but the whole world for that matter. Okay. Because the Lord has given us a mouthpiece to condemn for the unrighteous deeds that the world has done to the children of Israel, and that the world are doing to his planet. Okay. Lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain, meaning the summit. Okay. What's at the top of a mountain? It's a summit. Okay. Hint. There you go. That's why they call it a summit, a G20 summit. Okay. It's because they're at the top of the mountain. They represent the government. Okay. So back in Isaiah 13:3, oh, it's like it said that they may go into the gates of the nobles, and these are supposed to be the nobles. You know, the people that run the governments. All right. It says, I have commanded my sanctified ones. I have also called my mighty ones for mine anger, even them that rejoice in my highness. And it's talking about the angels. All right, because they are letting loose some of the natural disasters and destruction that's happening all over the world. Okay, right now. All right, but they're holding back from that the great and dreadful day now. All right, which you speak on. All right. Isaiah 13:4, it says, the noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. See, so there you go. The Lord of hosts mustered the hosts of the battle. All right, and hosts just mean armies. Okay, and that's why you have the disputes between China, the Philippines, Japan, the UN, the US, the Russians, the Syrian, well, Al Assad and the Syrian state, and also Iran. All right. So these are the implications. This is what's taking place because the Most High is making it take place. He's the one that's mustering the host. Okay. If you read Proverbs, which I'll get that, Proverbs 21. Let me see. I think it's the 8th verse. Or the first verse. Yeah, here we go. Proverbs 21:1. It says, the king's heart, all right, his mind, meaning heart, meaning mind, is in the hand of the Lord. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. All right, so it says, every way of a man is right in his own eyes, but the Lord pondereth the hearts. Okay, so in other words, the Most High, he's the one that turns, he's the one that, makes the course, all right, or sets the course. Okay, is people. That's why it's imperative that people understand the way of the Lord, because people have gotten, the so-called white man Esau has gotten so far away from, well, has basically has taken the Most High out of the picture, so much so is that people forget this very principle. All right, which plays out in their reality. Okay, so let me see. So the point being in 4, it says the noise of a multitude in the mountains, meaning the governments, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. The Lord of hosts mustereth the host of the battle. They come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even the Lord, and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. All right. And those ICBM nuclear missiles, those are his weapons, as a matter of fact. All right. If you read Isaiah 54:16, because he the one that creates the scientists. Oh, well, he gives the scientists the inspiration to create it. All right, because we know those that are in the know, these governments, they deal with Satanism. They deal with the left hand side of the Most High. Yes, they chant and they sacrifice and they do everything opposite of the Most High's ways, so they can have a one up by well, conjuring up these demons, so they can get some info on what to do next. Okay, and that's the deep darker side of understanding. All right, what's going on in the world, as Ephesians 6 and 12 speaks on. All right, and I'll get it. This is Isaiah 54:16. It says, "Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work, and I have created the waster to destroy." All right. So the Most High is given the inspiration. He's the one that basically made man make these ICBM nuclear missiles. Why? So they can destroy themselves. Because it all leading up to his plan in the first place. All right, was to restore Israel back in their land, and he's going to do it by way of destruction of the whole world. Because really, when you think about it, the whole world is out of course. There's more plastic in the oceans than there is coral reefs. All right, so and the animals are eating those plastics, and other animals are eating those animals that eat the plastic, and people eat plastic. I mean, eat the animals or the fish, and they get poisoned. All right, but that's all the doing of the so-called white man. All right, the convenience of his enterprise. Okay, so back to Isaiah 13. Okay, verses 6. It says, "How ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand; it shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt." All right, because that's how bad it's going to get. Okay, that's how bad the war is going to get. All right, it says, "And they shall be afraid; pangs and sorrows shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. They shall be amazed one at another. Their faces shall be as flames. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, cruel both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it." All right, and there you have it. Okay, because guess what? World War I, not a pretty sight. All right, World War II, not a pretty sight. Okay, and I'll get to my points on the reason why I got those up. And reason being, Revelations 19 and 12. All right, so Revelations 19 and 12. It says, "One woe is past, and behold, there come two woes more hereafter." All right, and this is John the Revelator prophesying. All right, and the sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the four horns of the golden altar which is before the Most High, saying, "The sixth angel, which had the trumpet, loosed the four angels which are bound in the great river of Euphrates." And it's just talking about the angels that's actually helping the Most High muster up the host and bring everybody to Jehoshaphat, or the battle of Jehoshaphat. Okay, it says, "And the four angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year, for to slay the third part of men." Okay, and the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000. And this is going into the thermonuclear fire that's going to be put on America and on the rest of the earth, on the parts that the Most High is going to basically destroy. Okay, so the point being, verse 12, "One woe is past, and behold, there is two woes more hereafter." Okay, and people, you got people that break this down. They absolutely have no clue. They understand that, oh, we might go into World War III, but they really don't want to. They don't want to go into World War III. They don't want to see it happen, but it will happen. Okay, so the word for woe in Revelations 19:12, uh, woe as woe, it just means destruction. Okay, woe meaning destruction. Okay, they don't want to give it to me right here. So basically, woe meaning destruction. If you can look, you can look it up. All right. I have no intention on misleading or being a liar. So here we go. And this is how we further know that America and all these other nations, they're going into war. All right. So uh, I'll read this article. Pike's letter to Mazin. All right. And I'll go to the points. You guys can read this, on your own. All right. The First World War. Okay. World War I. All right. So there you go. You see the numbers. It's more than 70 million military personnel, including 60 million Europeans, were mobilized in one of the largest wars in history. Over 9 million combatants and 7 million civilians died as a result of the war. Now I'll get into what was the purpose behind World War I. All right, because all of this was to bring in the New World Order. All right, the First World War must be brought about in order to permit the Illuminati to overthrow the power of the czars in Russia and of making that country a fortress of atheistic communism. The divergence caused by the agents, all right? So, and that's what you have now. You have agents that's causing war um, in each and every war that's taking place, all right? It says of the Illuminati between the British and Germanic empires will be used to foment this war. And at the end of the war, communism will be built and used in order to destroy the other governments and in order to weaken the religions, all right, which they have been doing. Let me see. Students of history will recognize that the political alliances of England, one on one side and Germany on the other, forged between 1871 and 1898 by Otto von Bismarck, co-conspirator of Albert Pike, were instrumental in bringing about the First World War. Now they didn't do it single-handedly. They had people fund them. All right, and yes, you got it. You said it right. The international bankers. All right, the prime suspects in this are the rich families of the world at that time, and still have and still are the rich families that basically drive the course of mankind. So have you want to say it? All right, but there's also you know a point I can drive out of that is that the Most High Yahweh is still influencing them to do so. Why? Because it's bringing upon their destruction. All right. So the Second World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences between the fascists and the political Zionists. This war must be brought about so that Nazism is destroyed and that the political Zionism be strong enough to institute a sovereign state of Israel and Palestine during the Second World War, and the national communism must become strong enough in order to balance a Christendom which would be then restrained and held in check until the time when we would need it for the final social cataclysm. All right. And that's why you had Bible destruction groups. And that's why you have things like the 501c3 charter, because these entities, which are government entities, which you see on every corner in your neighborhood, especially the black and Latin neighborhoods, um, these are the strongholds that the so-called white man, which is Edomites, all right, have set up in place so they can bring in the war against Islam versus the war against the Christian values. All right, and they created ISIS what to help bring it in, and that's where we at right now. Okay, it says after this Second World War, communism was made strong enough to begin taking over weaker governments. In 1945, at the Potsdam Conference between Truman, Churchill, and Stalin, a large portion of Europe was simply handed over to Russia. And, and on the other side of the world, the aftermath of the war, with Japan helped to sweep the tide of communism into China. All right. Readers who argue that the terms Nazism and Zionism were not known in 1871 should remember that the Illuminati invented both these movements. In addition, communism as an ideology and as a coined phrase originates in France during the Revolution. 1785, Restif coined the phrase for years before revolution broke out. Restif and Babeuf, in turn, were influenced by Rosal. I don't know how to pronounce his name. And it says, as was the most famous conspirator of them all, Adam Weishaupt. All right, which these guys can single-handedly do it. Let's just get that understanding. These guys are backed by rich banking families who, by way of which I mentioned earlier, they deal with Satanism and they deal with the left hand side of God. Um, like I said, they sacrifice and they do all type of perversion so they can sacrifice the demons because the demons would not have it otherwise. All right, we understand how to for ages how to communicate with the other side, um, whether it was through the left hand side through wickedness or if it was through the right hand side, which is righteousness, in which the Most High has it shown His right hand side only with the elect now, okay, with His word, because He's gonna come back in the angelic power, all right, to um, to surprise all you doubters, okay. Is the Third World War, all right, must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences caused by the agenda of the Illuminati between the political Zionists and the leaders of the Islamic world, ISIS, all right, which you have now, okay, and that's why generated crisis and more of these crises are going to be taking place because why they got to generate war, they got to generate chaos, all right, and through chaos is their order, which you know that it says the war must be conducted in such a way that Islam, the Muslim Arabic world, and the political Zionism, the state of Israel, mutually destroy each other. Meanwhile, the other nations, once more divided on this issue, will be constrained to fight to the point of complete physical, moral, spiritual, and economic exhaustion. We shall unleash the uh, nihilists and the atheists, and we shall provoke the formidable social cataclysm which, in all its horror, will show clearly to the nations that effect of absolute atheism, origin of savagery, and of the most bloody turmoil. And that's what's going to happen here in America. It's going to be bloody turmoil, and it's going to be a war that is really going to end all wars. All right, they said that about World War One, but this one is going to definitely end all wars, according to Isaiah 2. Then everywhere, the citizens obliged to defend themselves against a world minority of revolutionaries will will exterminate those destroyers of civilization and the multitude disillusioned with Christianity, whose deistic spirits will form that movement be without compass or direction, anxious for an ideal, but without knowing where to render its adoration, will receive the true light through the universal manifestation of the pure doctrine of Lucifer, brought finally out in the public view. This manifestation will result from the general reactionary movement, which will follow the destruction of Christianity and atheism, both conquered and exterminated at the same time. All right, so, and to point out one point about the true light through the universal manifestation and pure doctrine of Lucifer, which you already have. All right, Lucifer just means light bearer. All right, so a lot of you people are already Luciferian. Okay, with your doctrines and beliefs. Okay, and the only thing that's standing sure is the word of Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, which a lot of you have not the spirit of Him. You don't have the true doctrine or the understanding, and you damn sure don't believe in His name. You know, so, and really, that really pretty much concludes the lesson. I know I kind of went uh, left field, but the point still remains. The point still remains that we're going to war. I mean, not we, but the world is going to war, and we get to sit back and watch it. The elect, the Israelites, that the Lord is dealing with. So this is Ephesians 6:12. Because I said I'll bring this out. I started at 11. It says, "Put on the whole armor of the Most High, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil." All right, wiles just mean trickery. All right, what's part of his trickery? Methodia. All right, deceit, cunning arts, craft, trickery. All right, which is his system. Okay, which is really the doubting the spirit of the Heavenly Father and His Son. All right. It says Ephesians 6:12. It says, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world." Now it gets a little bit more intricate when you break this down. Flesh, not against flesh and blood, but against principalities. Principalities of what? Those 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 vibrations, those wicked, illicit, concupiscent vibrations that's out in the world, and it's pushed what through mainstream media. Okay, all the perversions in the world. Now, those vibrations go out in the world and they do affect the natural flow of things and they do affect everybody's mind. Okay? It's concupiscence, illicit desire. Okay? So I'll finish the scriptures against the rulers of the darkness of this world, which the elites, the Illuminati, whatever you want to help, whatever the hell you want to call them. All right? Illuminati is just a household name. We eventually know who's backing them. So basically, they are the rulers of the darkness of this world and against spiritual wickedness in high places. And their spiritual wickedness, like I said before, them sacrificing to demons, them trying to have a one up on what's to go down. And they don't move without those demons telling them to do so, which are the left hand side of the Most High, which the Most High is running everything. Okay? The Most High is doing everything. All right? Amos 3:6, and I'm going to end it off of here. It says, "Shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in the city, and the Lord hath not done it? Surely the Lord will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets," which are great millstone. All right. So with that, I'm going to cut it, because it's been lengthy. I try not to do it, but it's just too much, too many points. And with that, I say, Kahala Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone. This has been another one with Anaya Allah, the beloved truth, and Shalom.